Kasennisaks. I'm Mohawk from Kahnawake, Bear Clan, and I was adopted during the 60s scoop. We are standing here right now in the center of Tiohtià:ke, which is the meeting center for many nations across Canada and Quebec. There's 11 nations here in Quebec. And as you can see, we have some beautiful greenery, but also what we have is some stone, some cement, and some asphalt that now covers our beautiful land. The very small green spaces that are allotted for recreation, these days my people and the people from the north are now not able to find comfort with the earth. If someone erects a tent, like our homeless population, the city comes by and takes their only home. I grew up in Tiohtià:ke being an adoptee. My community is Kahnawake. I went to school downtown. I rode the buses, the metro. And today, part of my job at the Native Women's Shelter in Montreal, being the outreach worker, is that I do drive, but I also use my feet to walk around the city. And I meet with my families and the women and offer supports, any kind of resources that I have to offer them. I will connect them with the health system, I'll connect them with food security, and if I can't connect them with what they need, I look to other organizations. And there's a few other Native organizations here in Tiohtià:ke. So in the last 10 years, I've had the opportunity to travel across the country, across Canada, and visit other cities such as Winnipeg and Edmonton, Vancouver. And while I was there on my visits, I was given tours of the city, and there were some pretty nice organizations, Native organizations, that were specifically for Indigenous people. And I will say that here in Montreal, we don't have that. Here in Quebec and Montreal, we do not have that. And organizations and groups of Indigenous people are trying desperately to find a place where we can gather together to have our healing, to have our needs taken care of. And there's a project that I was introduced to about 10 years ago, the health center, the Holistic Health Center. For years, people are trying to find a tiny piece of land, a building, to house these organizations. And as I said earlier, you know, this is the land of the First Nations people. It is the settlers that came 200 years ago and put down the cement and the concrete. Our homeless population is looking for a piece of earth to sit on. We are looking as a community for an infrastructure, a building to house services. So it's very important to reach out to the community, to the people, not just the politicians. Because in my opinion, reaching out to a politician is like talking to a brick wall. We need the people of Tiohtià:ke. We need the communities. We need all nations, as our medicine wheel teaches us, the 4 colors of the nation, to come together and to respect the First Nations people, the Inuit, the Métis, the First Nations that were here on this land long before the settlers came. At this time, we are going to be commemorating the survivors of the residential schools. Thousands and thousands of graves have been discovered behind the residential schools. What's being done about this? Where's the justice? Again, do you talk to a politician? Do you talk to your local MNA? No, we talk to the people, because the people are the ones that we need to reach and join us. That is reconciliation. So I would like to announce today, on behalf of my good friend Don Yayestosai Lanukana. My apologies if I didn't pronounce her Mohawk name properly. I'm an adoptee, I didn't grow up with my language. She's with the organization Pass the Feather, the Indigenous Arts Collective of Canada. And on September 30th, They will be presenting an event on Parliament Hill. So if you just give me a moment and I will read this to you. So Pass the Feather Indigenous Arts Collective of Canada presents Remember Me, a national gathering to remember Indigenous children and families affected by the Indian residential schools and all the Indigenous child apprehension programs. And this is a message from Dawn. We are calling the women to walk together and the men to support and elevate us as we carry the sacredness of motherhood and childhood. September 30th is a day to show unity in our efforts to bridge the gap between Canadians and Indigenous people. It is an opportunity to embrace diversity and promote equality. Above all, it will encourage dialogue, active citizenship, and social responsibility. It is imperative to teach the next 7 generations that we are all in this together. And a beautiful quote, see each other the way the moon sees the sun, vastly different and equally important. So the Remember Me, September 30th on Parliament Hill is a project by the Indigenous Arts Collective of Canada and Pass the Feather in partnership with the Michael Eugene Foundation. This can be found on the Facebook page Pass the Feather Indigenous Arts Collective of Canada. So people, let's get together, let's unite, and let's work this together for reconciliation. Nyamagoa in all my relations.